so there's a lot of need in the social media.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell them what the true reasoning of, yeah.
So I think
you're live, Rachel.
Oh, hi everyone, we are live. Welcome. There's a lot of need in the social media.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell them what the
I was here chatting with our speaker, who I'm excited for everyone to hear tonight. My name is Rachel Dolstein, and I am the chair of the Daly, which stands for Jamaica Diaspora Worldwide Organizations Task Force. And in this particular task force is where we house all the nonprofit organizations, community-based organizations, and all the do-gooders, so all the people across the diaspora who are doing work to make Jamaica and make the lives of folks in the diaspora better. This is where we house them, and we equip them, we empower them through trainings, workshops. We have quarterly networking meetups where we meet and we talk about what they're working on, what they may have any issues with. And so tonight is our quarterly One Love Jamaica nonprofit workshop series. And so tonight and next week, Thursday, we are going to focus on social media. So the theme for this quarter's workshops is Let's Get Social, because I know from my work as a nonprofit consultant to many nonprofits over the years is that is one of the areas where nonprofits struggle a lot, is creating a space, carving out a space on social media where they can tell their story, where they can cultivate donors and volunteers, and really, really utilize that space to maximize the work they're doing and also maximize their fundraising. So I am excited about tonight and about next week, and I myself will be taking notes so I can bring information back to JD Watt. But as a nonprofit founder, I'm always learning. So I know that Chris and Cassandra tonight are going to be dropping jewels, and I'll be there picking them up as they drop them, so that I myself can be empowered and educated, and I can share that with the JD Watt folks. So the first guest speaker that we're going to have tonight is Chris Daly. And Chris Daly is going to talk about using social media to tell your nonprofit story and grow your influence. And before I introduce him, I want to encourage you right now to go grab a pen and paper, or if you have a cell phone like I do, I use Evernote to take all my notes. I can save it, but grab a pen and paper as something that you can take notes. Because I know for sure that tonight you're going to really get some good information that's going to be very helpful and practical. It's not going to be over your head information. It's going to be practical information that nonprofit boards can use and nonprofit managers can use to really, really maximize the work that you do in the social media space. So let me introduce Chris, and then I'm going to hush and turn it over to him. So Chris Daly is the founder of Digital to Grow LLC, a digital marketing agency where its core offerings are consultative services, mapping out client journey, reputation building and delivery clients build with 5-star reputations, social media campaigns, including videos, social posts, and social offers, brand development, which is extremely important even for nonprofits. Your brand development, is your brand recognizable? So brand development, logos, taglines, 3D avatars, and national press release tools, advanced traffic strategies with ad placement on relevant, ad placement. Sorry, I said AD when it's ad placement on relevant sites, funnel websites and online lead magnets to engage prospects. This comprehensive offering set allows Digital to Grow to be the marketing force multiplier driving revenue possibilities. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and welcome Chris Daly.
Thanks so much, Rachel. It's great to be here tonight. Let me get my screen ready here for sharing. All right. It's good to be with you this evening, folks. As she said, My tagline is, I want to be your marketing change multiplier. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, the interruption here. So let's get to it, and let me share what we're all about. First, an overview of the moving. All right. So in my service, there are 4 core issues that we deal with. Reputation, very important. Reviews, people care about reviews and how you treat them. Traffic, funnel, these are websites and how you automate your sales force, and of course, social media. We live in a digital age, and you really have to have a digital mindset, be your profit or non-profit like we're talking about tonight. And so without you understanding that, you're going to be in trouble. So either you're digital or you go home. And so social media gives you that kind of capability. So what's the basic thing, since people are not seeing you eyeball to eyeball, especially in this time of COVID, how can you develop trust? The basic idea, you're going to develop trust with folks that they're willing to actually support you and give you the kind of needed donations or volunteer work that you need. So there are 3 things. It's called a KLT. They have to know you, so you have to have some traffic come into your different website. They have to like you, and that's what you do through social media. And they have to trust you, which is your reputation. So even if you're a nonprofit, and the way you use the funds and the way you treat the folks that are part of your enterprise, people do measure you by that. And so reputation here is very important to actually maximize your possibility. It's all about trust. So here we're talking about social media, the different kind of icons that you have, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it. Email actually was the first social media campaign, although people don't look at it like that, but it's a very important toolkit to have email campaigns. And we'll get into that in a minute. So you have to be aware also of what's different kind of social media by generation. Different folks, different strokes for different folks. That also happens within social media. So here we have a chart showing you which ones, if you're a baby boomer, and where they are in social media versus Gen Xer during the millennials. So understanding your audience or the people you're going after to be able to engage them and use the right platform is very important. But you'll see here, because they are different platforms, 80% of all your prospects or people, donations or volunteers on social media. You just have to have the right strategy to be able to meet them. What are people telling us how they engage with social media that you can meet them? 48% of people will tell you that they are encouraged by how what the kind of stuff you post. They'll get promotion. 46% welcome promotional items from you. Educational content, also very important. 42% says that. And behind the scenes, interviews with somebody who's doing a great work is very important. 27% say. So now you get a sense of the kind of content you need to develop to be able to share with people. So often the other piece that comes, so the kind of content we just talked about, or often should you post for the different platforms? Very important also. For Twitter, we recommend 4 times a day, Facebook 2 times a day, LinkedIn 1 time a day, Instagram 3 times a day. So you need to be considering posting 2 times a day on average to be able to reach your client. So here's our code. You post twice a day, or customers or clients or donors won't come your way. That's our matter that we use to drive that. One of the things you have to know, a lot of these things are free. Because they're free, say Facebook, only 12% of when you do a post, only 12% of your followers actually see that post. The way that, say, Facebook makes its money is for you to actually boost, pay monies for them to boost that post, that more people will see it. But keep that in mind. If only 12% of your followers sees a post, if you have a very popular post, guess what? You may want to repeat that later because it's going to pick up additional folks to see it. So that's a great tip to remember. You have to be consistent. So you can't post one day and then, they don't hear from you another day, because human beings are very habitual. So the time of the day you post matters, or often your post matters. So you want to get them into a habit to expect content from you the same time each day, or the same time, whatever day you choose to actually share that content. Be very consistent in how you say it. So when people, if you just do say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesdays and Thursday, they're not going to be looking for stuff from you. But if you should wish Wednesday, guess what? You may hear from them and you may lose them. So you really want to develop that habit pattern with them as you share. Consistency is also, as I said, is very important, because reviews are another thing that's very important. How do nonprofit get reviews? So if you have folks that you're serving, you really want to capture their likability of the service that you're giving. Folks actually look at that as information, and I consider those social signals to see, should I invest money? Should I volunteer in this organization? They're getting feedback independent from what you're saying in your publicity as to how good you are, because this person, independent third party, and if they're saying good things about you, people actually trust their information versus you saying good things about yourself. And so use reviews, have a way of capturing the goodwill that you place in people's lives for them to actually share that, and you can use that as a marketing signal as a part of your social media services. The way you place it, not just on your social media service, place it on your website also. Because if they come there and not on your social media sites, you want to make sure that you're very comprehensive in doing that. We've at Digital to Grow actually developed a recipe about social media and what kind of content you should share. We blocked out some of it because we didn't want to give away all of our secret sauce, but we'll give some of it to you tonight. The first one is R. R is for recreational. So if you have something in that kind of way of funny stuff, maybe, in Jamaica, it could be, has to do with maybe athletics, share that here. So I have our recreation as one of the kind of themes that you have. Then there's E. E stands for educational. What kind of educational stuff are you sharing with people for them to know what, let me see, to know what you actually all about. They need to be educated. The more educated they are, the better decision they can make in supporting you. C, conversational. So you may have, what's a conversational piece of content? It may have to do with something like, a question that you ask them, and for them to give you a response. You may be a question about Jamaica, or when a certain organization came about, or what kind of impact they have. So you can make it conversational. So it's a question, a poll. Those are conversational kind of content. I is inspirational. People like inspirational content to set their mood, to give them a great day going forward. Then there's P, promotional ideas, and I'll talk a little later about the kind of promotional ideas that you can use with your sponsors to do something good for them with your followers to actually get more bang for your content. And last is entrepreneurial. So you have partners, you have volunteers. Profiling these people are very important to let your followers know and your supporters know how much you care. So recipe, we've made that in as the way we break down our content to be able to share with people in different stuff, as opposed to send them the same jokes all the time. We're very diligent in what we share. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. It's recreational jokes, throwback holidays, recreational. Here's an example of a joke. A man and a woman were traveling on a train. The woman, every time you smile, I feel like inviting you to my place. Man, are you single? No, I'm a dentist. See, it gives people a chuckle and a laugh for the day, and you can go on from there. Keep it clean, and you'll just be fine. Educational, if you're into birds, like in this example, you can share whatever idea you have. You can use educational material. Case study, trips, trends, research, trivia are great content as far as educating your audience that they look forward to hearing from you. Conversational, we talk about polls and surveys, asking questions. Fill in the blanks is a great one, where they get to fill in the blank and engage with you. This is an example of one. The other place where people do not spend enough time and understand how important it is the social cover. The social cover, most people consume your content through their phone. And most covers are 50% of the screen. So you have a digital board that you can have, be it a church you have or whatever, that you're supporting as a nonprofit, that most people miss as using that as a very important part of their social media strategy. So if something takes up 50% of your screen, use that as a digital board to actually engage people. And you can use it for these different platforms. What could you put in your cover? Each month, I recommend to my customer changing the cover. You have holidays, you have all kinds of events happening. New Year's, you can then share something about your reputation on a cover. You have Valentine's Day, another cover. You can then share an offer another month. 4th of July is coming up. You can share something there. Share something about something good somebody's saying about your reputation again. Halloween, different holidays, another offer. Thanksgiving, Christmas. So map out your entire year like we've done here and tell people, each month they don't see the same cover, they see a different cover, they look forward to it. Here's one of the secrets about cover. I told you earlier on that only 12% of folks see your posts. In covers, 100% of folks sees your cover when you change the cover. So it's a great strategy. It's 50% of your screen. Change your covers every month to have that kind of impact with folks. The other stuff that we use is actually, I'm sure you've heard of Groupon. I have a service that can give you my clients their personal Groupon. And here's the strategy I'd suggest to nonprofits. So if you have somebody who's sponsoring you, how do you represent their products in the marketplace? Because the more monies they get, the more they're going to support you. So if you can support their business before your audience, guess what? They're going to love you. So we have a method of creating, the issue with Groupon is people usually use Groupon to actually get traffic to their site. And they usually have to discount their product or services, say by 50%. And then the other 50% that's left, they actually split that. 50% goes to Groupon and 50% goes to themselves. The issue with Groupon as it is, you do not get to build a list of clients. You send them a coupon, they go into the store, they did a coupon, but then you would have to go back to Groupon again to run it all over. Suppose you can run your own Groupon and collect people's name, because the magic is in the list. The more you can build a list, the better off you're gonna be. And so we have a product that actually allows you to place within your product. Suppose a dentist is supporting you. You can, suppose they have a teeth whitening special. We allow that teeth whitening special to be placed within our post. Folks would see it. There's an offer page and a redemption page where we capture people's actual information. So we track how many people, it's usually for a couple of weeks, and they'll love you because you're selling their product to your client as opposed to just asking them for money. Because you have had that kind of reputation with your clients, they'll buy from you because of your recommendation. So this is one strategy that we really have. It's called a social offer. So that's some of the strategies that we use to really make a difference. Basically, the idea is to stay at top of mind using social media. When you can do that, you can have a big, big influence. So that's all my presentation. I'm now going to open it up for questions from you.
Chris, this was so good. I have a little notebook, but I took quite a bit of notes. I took quite a bit of notes because you were really saying some great stuff, and I'm hoping that the presentation that you have tonight, that you won't mind sharing it with us so we can
I can do
post
that
it as a resource. Yeah, you said some really great stuff tonight. So I don't see any comments in the YouTube yet, but I have some questions. I don't see any comments or questions, but I wrote down some questions that I wanted to ask you. And I know that Cassandra, who's going to be our next speaker, that Cassandra is going to talk about social media basics and just really go about the platforms, et cetera. So I don't know if some of these questions Cassandra will be answering in our presentation, but these were some questions that came up as you were talking.
Sure.
So I love recipe. That is really so simple, because one of the things as an entrepreneur and also as someone who's a nonprofit founder is really trying to find, develop content that is relevant and using some type of system to do that. So I really love the recipe, and the recipe really, for those who are watching, can be a guide for your themed social media postings, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A recipe is 6 letters. So essentially 6 days out of the week, you take one of these and that's your theme. Every Monday, it's recreational. Every Tuesday, it's educational, right? And you can really, just by using the great examples that Chris gave. So I really, really love that. One of the things you said a lot was cover. You talked about social media cover, and I know what that is. But we have some folks who may be watching or who may watch this video on the replay and are scratching their heads because you're like, what do you mean by social media cover?
All right,
so can you just explain a little bit more, or if you have an example as to what you mean by
I can do that. I'm going to, let me pull up my cover here.
Okay.
And, so I'll do my grandkids. They're honest. So if you look on the phone, right? You'll see on the phone, this top section is a social cover. You have a picture in the middle, and then there's a surrounded thing here. You see, it's nearly 50% of the screen. So
okay.
That you can actually, a lot of people just put cute pictures in there. I don't do that. I'm very intentional about what I put on my screen. And maybe I can get to mine to give an example of that. But each month I change. I've been so busy I haven't changed it for this month yet. All right. So here's my screen. So you see my picture, but I have an offer on there. So I have a map and an offer on my seat. I invited them to get a strategy session for myself. So myself is in the middle, but it shows them a map. And if they want to have a map for success, they'll use my stuff. So that's the cover. And if all of the cover, I guess Instagram doesn't have a cover, but Twitter has a cover, YouTube has a cover, Facebook has a cover, LinkedIn has a cover, and it takes up a large page on that screen. People are taking to images or videos. I use video time for my stream. That's a way of actually grabbing somebody's attention, and just don't put text or a blank screen or a picture of a cute cat. Use it as an opportunity, as a digital billboard to engage the audience, give them an offer, do something to drag them in and let them take some action.
Exactly, and I know that's such a simple yet powerful tip. Just about your cover, and it's true. I spend so much time on my phone, as I'm sure you do, and so many people do that. Normally, we don't go on our laptops to scroll through Facebook. Most of the time, we're on a tablet or we're on our phone, and you're absolutely right. That cover picture takes up that. You definitely see that very vividly, and it's half of your screen. So that is such a powerful and a simple, just so simple tool to draw attention to something that you're doing, whether it's your fundraising or you have an event coming up, or you want to bring attention, you're advocating for a particular issue. Whatever it is, I really love the idea of changing that cover photo every month. Every month to reflect something that is, or making a video.
Or making a video. Facebook allows you to do a 90-second video for your page.
Right.
Or a business page or nonprofit page. So again, it's another means of engaging. You really need to, there's so much noise around you. You really want to have a way of standing out from the crowd. And those strategies that I use just to give myself and my clients that type of possibility.
I definitely like that one. Okay, so the other question I have for you is, you talked about giving a client value, and even as nonprofits, we have value. So in the social media space, you mentioned that giving value to the viewer. So for a nonprofit who is doing work, really doing work in the business of doing good, what would be an example of a way that a nonprofit can give a viewer value in a post?
Okay, so suppose most people say they go to a local supermarket or business to get solicited funds, right? Instead of doing that, if you have a following that's following you on Facebook, say, tell you what, I'll promote your business on my Facebook page. You can do a co-branded with that group. So the people are usually following, especially in the nonprofit, they're pretty dedicated people, care about causes. And so you're going to tap into that. So you come with a recommendation for a local dentist or local, and then you profile them. That's a value, because you tell them, you trust me, and you basically transferring trust. It's all about relationship and trust. So I think these guys are good guys. They have a special go check out their work. And so the idea of not just going to that business and say, gee, can you give us a few dollars? You go there and they'll be happy, and they'll ask you how many followers you have. Right? And that's why as you build your followership, the more followers you have, the more power that you have in the marketplace, because you can say, gee, I have 3,000 people. And they say, if they 1% of that,
right,
a couple of clients that they could really could make a difference, and they're doing good in the community. You're promoting them, you're giving them basically a review that they're good guys, so they don't have to go spend monies to go do ads that are not as effective as your promotion of them.
So essentially it's
that
values
kind
on, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, and nonprofits have, if you have followers, dedicated followers, whatever you share with your followers about the business matters, and use that as a leverage of actually gaining support from businesses, as opposed to just going with hat in hand for a few dollars, when you can actually promote their business, or if they have a special to your audience. And if they're getting clients from there, guess what? That relationship would just build and build and build.
So essentially, this one simple post creates values on two fronts. It creates values for the direct supporters of that nonprofit who trust the nonprofit, the work they're doing, and want to support that nonprofit's work in any way that they can. And then it also provides value for that business who is going to, who's partnering, because if it's a sponsorship or whatever the case is, who's partnering and who's in that community and who's providing a service to that community. It also provides value to them, not just in customers, but something like that also lets the community know that this particular business supports a particular nonprofit in the work that's happening, right? So it's really a way,
Big box businesses, you know, they have national campaigns, but who's going to buy cricket bats for your kids, soccer balls, baseballs?
It's the local businesses,
And that's why I'm all for local businesses, because in the community, and their lifeblood is make sure they're engaging with the local community. So
absolutely,
the more we can support local businesses, the better the health of the communities.
Exactly. And I wanna definitely put another explanation to this. So across this country, nonprofits, when you look for sponsors and you look for donors and you look for grants, the reciprocity of it should not be that someone is giving you this sponsorship so they can get access to your clientele. That's not what the exchange is. The exchange is in the value, right? So legally, a nonprofit cannot promote this dentist because this dentist is giving money. What the nonprofit can do is that this dentist is an asset to the community. It is supporting the work that we're doing. We have built a relationship and a trust with them. So nonprofits, that means that you have to be careful who you connect with. And they say that not all money is good money. That is very, very relevant, because the last thing that you need is to attach yourself to a business who doesn't have the same integrity, morals, and values that you have. You have now promoted this business to the people who trust you. That business loses the trust of the folks who trust you, and guess who's next? They're coming for you. They're coming for your neck, as they say in the streets.
You're transferring your integrity to that
business.
And
you have to vet.
To make sure you do due diligence.
Yes, you have to vet because you are so right, Chris, when you say that donors trust. We have the nonprofit I started, we've been around for about 8 years, and we have folks who've been given to us for 8 years. They every year, we're now building a recurring, so folks who donate every single month, because we've built that trust. And so that is a very heavy responsibility for a nonprofit. So if I then go to my donors and say, we're partnering with Walmart, as an example, to do X, Y, and Z, please support Walmart, because in your support, you're also supporting us, right? That's how the language goes. You have to make sure that whatever it is, what the values of Walmart is, the mission, the integrity, what they're all about, that it is in line with your mission, and it's in line with the activities. So you should not just be attaching yourself to businesses because they'll donate and promoting. What is your mission? What is the work that you're doing? Does it tie into that? So being very careful about that. But this is definitely a really great way to grow your profit.
Exactly. It's all about relational relations.
Absolutely.
To give new help to the community. Once
Absolutely.
then you can really, multiply the possibilities.
So we have one question from our YouTube video. And so Leslie Ann is saying, I missed the recipe. She has R for recreational, E for educational, but she's asking if you can please repeat CIPE so she can grab those.
All right, C for conversational, E for entrepreneurial, P for promotional, and what's the last E?
I for inspirational. I wrote it down.
Inspirational, right, you got it, it's good. And we use it, that's the way we go about having a diverse, that's the way we use the recipe, no pun intended, to diversity of content. And because different content appeals, when you have that kind of diversity, some people may like jokes, some people have different folks. And so you're gonna make sure that you give a comprehensive coverage of the folks who are consuming your content.
Absolutely. So Leslie Ann is recreational, educational, conversational, inspirational, promotional, and entrepreneurial. That's the recipe. And Chris is going to share his PowerPoint with us. So that will be sent out to Daly. So you'll also get to see that again. I have one last question for you, Chris, before I let you go. And I'm hoping that this is also something that Cassandra is going to touch on a little bit as well. Hashtags. We hear a lot about hashtags. So when you look at creating value, when you look at telling your nonprofit story and really growing your influence in the social media space, what are your thoughts on hashtags, and what are some tips that you have for creating hashtags that are meaningful to the nonprofit?
Right. So hashtags, the strategy that I use for hashtag, you have to have something that's trendy. It has to have some kind of conversational. So when you to explain hashtag, it's basically a tag that you put on all of your content that gets aggregated. So if somebody searches for it, see, all of the different answers or expressions of perspective around that tag. And so make sure you do your research to make sure that and there are some tools that are there. There's some free tools. I'm not sure. One of the person on our staff actually do that. So I don't get involved that deeply in it. But basically the idea is to use a tool to make sure you're capturing the right trend, that you'll have that kind of buzz that you'll get, people participating. So participation is the key. You have to have something that have that kind of pull that people will say, yes, I want to share and be a part of that conversation.
Absolutely. This was so simple and good. Social media is one of the spaces that I'm so I'm not scared of a lot of things, but the social media space is one I haven't yet mastered. So it seems so scary and looming. And these simple tips and strategies that you gave today for really growing a nonprofit's influence on social media and using simple tools to tell the nonprofit story was so impactful, I think. And sometimes we think it's this complicated kind of mumbo jumbo stuff, and it's not. And then another part of that is nonprofits really investing in professionals who, meaning money, because sometimes nonprofits, but let's be real, y'all don't want to spend your money on things that really will help to generate. But I always tell the nonprofit clients that I have that you are running a business. What is your business? Doing good. And doing good costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money.
Let me tell you one of the tips I've used with nonprofits, because I support several nonprofits. And one of the ways I get paid, because they may be cash poor. However, you can write me a tax letter.
Yes, that's a powerful thing for businesses.
I take currency. There are different kind of currencies. A tax letter is currency.
Yes.
They can also give me reviews. If I do well from them, they can. I'm asking for video reviews. And right now, I just finished a campaign for a nonprofit that we're about to release. We made a series of videos, just to support the Red Stories. We did their donation page. They're so pleased with it. I want to have I said, give me this amount of cash. I know, but give me a tax later and the reviews and referrals. Currency also. So it's not the cash.
Absolutely.
I look beyond cash.
Yes.
I'm wide in my perspective, especially profit. So tax later is a very important. If you have your 501c3, use that as a part of your payment process.
But the mindset of nonprofits have to shift that they are a business. And I think that once those mindsets start to shift that you're running a business, some of these things that you're talking about that for-profit businesses do as in business mindset, there's some things nonprofits can't do because it's just not legal. But the business mindset of we're running a business, we have to diversify our financial portfolio. And there's a variety of ways to do that. When you build out a budget, in-kind services can count for a budget line that helps pay for something, right? And then you or in-kind items or whatever the case may be. And so really understanding, and now I feel like I need to do a whole nother workshop conversation on bartering and what that means for nonprofits, the idea of bartering. And that many moons ago, folks would barter. You have water, I have wood. The value is equivalent because I need water and you need wood, right? And so we exchange this because even though it's two different things, the value I place on the water because I need it is the same value placed on wood, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and so really understanding that. That's a really good point as well.
My clients that also, partnering with nonprofits is to your benefit because you want to be good citizens within the community.
Right. Absolutely.
And if you can find good nonprofits and do partnerships, it's
absolutely
all around, it's a triple win.
Yep. And that's how you grow your influence as well. All of these big companies, every multi-million, billion-dollar company, if you go to their page, they have a social responsibility page that either has a nonprofit or a foundation associated with it. So following that model, you're absolutely correct in that. So Chris, it was absolutely wonderful to have you.
Great here.
I did get a question in our group about your contact information. So I want folks to know that yes, JD Watt, we will be sending out Chris's contact information so that if you want to reach out to him, you can do that. Or if you want to find out more about his services or what he does, what he offers to nonprofits in this particular space of social media, yes, I will be attaching his information to the email that I send out with the link for you to rewatch this, but also his PowerPoint. So
I'll get to you the PowerPoint,
with Chris.
Exactly, and it's a part of the PowerPoint. Yes.
Perfect. So I have his contact, so I'll include that, and then it's in the PowerPoint. So yes, Chris will just not poof disappear. We will definitely. Yeah, we want to. JD Watt is about building resources and people.
Exactly. This is. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yes, absolutely.
I participated back in March, and this is a great opportunity to participate.
Yes, absolutely. So I am grateful for your time. Thank you so very, very much. We definitely need to have you back again to continue this conversation, of course, in a different topic. And so I hope that you'll be happy to come back.
I'd be more delighted.
Awesome. So you guys have all heard Chris say that, right? So he can't back out now. But thank you so much, Chris.
It's important, as I said, it's part of my value system that to give back and to democratize technology, because a lot of places people use some tools. I give away tools a lot just because of that, because I know if you can leverage tools and multiply your influence and impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
It was great chatting with you and meeting you. And we will see you soon.
Will do.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right, folks. So wasn't that good? That was a really great, so much information, so much value that was just given by Chris. And at no cost to you. He came on and gave some really good information at no cost to you. And you can take that information and then use it to really grow and maximize your nonprofit mission. Next up, we have Cassandra Campbell, who I am just meeting for the first time, but I saw her headshot and I was like, wow, what a beautiful chocolate sister.
Thank you, Rachel. Likewise,
yes.
right back at you.
I was like, wow, look at her. And she got some Jamaican blood running through that. So before I introduce Cassandra and turn the virtual mic over to her, Cassandra is going to talk about social media 101, the basics. So I know that Chris just covered some social media about growing your influence and telling your nonprofit story on social media. Cassandra is going to backtrack a little and we're going to give you the basics. What are some of the basics of social media that you need to know? I have no idea what her content is, but if it's anything like her picture, I know it's going to be amazing. And so I have my pen and pad ready, as I did with Chris, to take notes. So let me go ahead and introduce Cassandra. So Cassandra Campbell is a first-generation American with parents of Jamaican and Cuban descent. She's a graduate of Virginia State University, where she received both master's and bachelor's degrees in economics. That is just me and numbers. Yeah, nah, no bueno.
Me and numbers, no bueno. I should say that.
Creative and passionate professional, she has an extensive track record executing grand strategies and campaigns across a wide range of industries. From working in the White House under President Obama, all right now, managing 2 political campaigns in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been to Omaha, Nebraska, and I like it.
I love it.
I like flat land. So yeah. Other people are like, huh, but Omaha, Nebraska, I did like Omaha, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And now working in business advertising for Facebook. Okay, so you know, Cassandra knows what she's talking about tonight. In Menlo Park, California, nothing excites her more than facing new challenges. Cassandra understands fundamentally the importance of building community through the use of social media and has made it her personal mission to spread awareness on how to best leverage these platforms towards achieving both business and personal goals. Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Cassandra.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you. I am so happy to be here. And, just like my bio said, I love doing this. I really like talking about social media personally because I have, I live in California, but my parents, my family, they're in Virginia, Jamaica, Massachusetts. Everybody's on the East Coast. I have an aunt who just moved to Kentucky, but I am having to live the life of someone who has to stay connected to community through social media. So I can, see plain as day the value of it and why it's important to be engaged on it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk to everyone about social media. And so the cool thing is, Chris, I have to hit share my screen. One moment. I have to hit share my screen on here. Chris had gone into detail about some of the strategies to use. And I thought that was really encouraging. And someone's knocking at my door and the doorbell's ringing. I don't have anyone here to answer it. So I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna just keep going. Hopefully,
or I can, if you want, I can chat the
yeah. Would you mind just give me 1 second? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So while Cassandra goes to answer her door, see, this is the joys of social media.
Thank you.
Make stuff happen. So one of the comments that someone made on YouTube, I think it was after Chris's presentation, was that a good board of directors is key. That is so correct. A good board of directors is the key to a successful nonprofit, not just in the social media space, but just period. The governing body, your board that is responsible, has fiduciary responsibility for your organization. That is the key to an organization's success. So that comment is right on, and it is true, and it's really, really important. All right, Cassandra's back from her doorbell adventures, so I'm gonna turn it back over to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Working from home, this is what that looks like. And that's that. So today I'm going to talk to you all about social media marketing for nonprofits. I do not have a nonprofit, so I am speaking a bit from the outside looking in, but I do, and Facebook has a plethora of resources for nonprofits to get started on the platform, to promote their business. And just from the business lens, a lot of business, and you were mentioning this earlier, Rachel, a lot of these business tactics apply to all. So I appreciate Chris's presentation, because I too took notes on the recipe. And it applies to all lanes of businesses. But nonprofits, that's the sweet spot. You're doing the good for the good of the people. And so that is like, definitely, it's a labor of love. And so there's so many free resources out there to get you started, get you going, and grow your business. Okay. So first things first, if my screen can move forward. So what does social media marketing help you do? So off top, build awareness. If you are not on these platforms, how will people know you exist? So it's really important to make sure that you have presence. You are there. When people are looking to find you, you exist. So, and it's a free way to exist in the digital landscape. Secondly, social media marketing helps you to gain website traffic. When you're bringing people to your website, bringing eyes to your website, bringing dollars to your donation bucket, social media marketing helps you funnel that traffic to your website. And lastly, and the one that people, this is the sweet spot that you as a business owner have control over, connecting with your audience. Connecting with your audience means whatever that means to you. If connecting with your audience means that you are going to consistently, go live every day, you can use an IG Live or a Facebook Live. But all of these different platforms are here to help you do these three things. Build your brand, bring people to your website for a call to action. Sometimes it's to donate, and sometimes it's to sign up to volunteer. And lastly, to maintain that loop, that relationship, keep that relationship warm with that audience. Social media marketing is designed to help you do just that. The top 5 social media platforms for businesses, number 1, Facebook, shout out to the set. Secondly, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. There's so many others out there. Pinterest is another one. I'm a makeup artist. And so, a lot of my inspiration comes from Pinterest. So I always give a nice little plug on this screen. But for businesses, primarily, I see a lot of people focus all of their advertising efforts on these 5. Not to say that there's not a million gazillion more out there. But these are the ones I would say, when you have a business, at least owning the social handle for your business on these platforms and having content on the page helps to make your business look a lot more established. And in case, one of your audiences, they prefer LinkedIn over Facebook, you want to make sure you're feeding them on that platform as well. So I always encourage business owners to make sure they have a presence on these 5. So you're running a business and you want to start with a social media strategy. Well, where do you begin? It starts with setting goals. Setting goals means a number of things. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this to increase your awareness? Are you doing this to increase your followers? Are you doing this to increase engagement? These are all the different goals, or a few, not all, a few of the types of goals that nonprofits can set. From those 3, down funnel Are you trying to get people to send you messages? Are you trying to get people to use the donate sticker for a fundraiser that you have coming up? You want to set goals so that it's very clear as to why you're here. Through doing that, everything else ladders up. Your content will ladder up to your goals. You know, your audience will ladder up to your goals. But at the highest level, where do you want to start with your social media strategy? It's to, one, define the goals. Secondly, and this one I'm going to double click into because I think this is very, very important. Again, I work in advertising, so I oftentimes hear business owners, you know, say they want to get their product out there. I say, well, who's your audience? And they're like, oh, you know, like people like you. And I'm like, well, tell me about me, since you know, well, you know, you have money, you have a job. Those are not the type of details that's going to get you your audience. You got to get specific about the people you are looking for. Where do they hang out? What do they read? What's their income? You know, the identifying your audience involves it involves research, but it also involves a level of honesty with yourself as a brand as to who you're building, what you're building for. And I know nonprofits is a sweet spot because there's different categories of audience subsets that you have, whether you're, you know, sourcing volunteers or you're looking to, like I said, get money. You would have to break down those audience sets and clearly define who they are. So defining your target audience, where do they hang out? What do they do? What is their income? These are the types of questions you want to begin to ask yourself when you're finding your audience. And then back to the previous slide I had before about the social media apps, where do they hang out at? What are they doing? Targeted social media marketing, it involves you identifying where your people are. So once you define them, where are they? Okay. And you know what Facebook does really well, and why a lot of people talk about Facebook, is because we're able to find your audience and target your audience based on their geolocation. So wherever they're located, we can find them there. Demographics, age, gender, language, interest. These are, the demographics category, like we have an idea of, and we have a pool of people that we know based on what the information that they've input when they join the platform, we know a little something about them. And then lastly, interest-based targeting, that's, you know, people who like Trader Joe's or people who like Grace Foods, right? You can build up a profile of people based on the things that they have liked on the platform. And so when you think of the benefits of organic versus paid, and paid is, you know, I'm sure for nonprofits, it's like, ooh, paid, we're not ready for that. But I want to touch on that because we can't shy away from why we see some businesses grow at the scale they do and others don't. Once you've mastered organic, that means you are consistently posting. Your content is relevant. You know your brand. You have your user personas. You have figured that out. Then you need to scale. You need to grow your audience. And how do you do that? Paid advertising. Paid advertising allows you to reach a larger audience. It's going to allow you to target your ideal customers. And it's going to drive the conversions, which means if you're looking to get money, we're going to be able to bring that in based on knowing, you know, your custom audience. We know the people who have given you money before. Facebook will allow you to bring more people like that to your Facebook page or your Instagram page, either of the two, but that's going to start to help you grow and scale your business. And the combination of the two, and even before I go to that, when I say paid, I don't mean, you know, Coca-Cola budget, Pepsi budget. Paid advertising does sometimes begin with a $5 a day campaign that's meant for awareness. I want to bring more people to my Facebook page to like my Facebook page. Now, don't bring them there if you don't have engaging content. Okay, so the paid conversation comes later. Organic first. Do what you do it the best, and then let's jump over to paid to grow that audience. But the combination of the two allows you to gain new followers. It's going to help you promote quality content, and it's going to help you research your target audience, because once you've brought all these people in the room, We have an excellent analytics system and insights tool that helps you see, oh, I have more people coming in from this part of the country. Maybe I should actually target more of my product in this part of the country. That's going to come later once you bring them in and you're able to see how the tool works. I have learned so much in the 2.5 years that I've worked here about the Facebook advertising world, and I can understand why businesses grow so quickly on the platform. All right, step 3, create relevant content. It needs no other slide. What are you selling? Why are you selling it? Who are you selling it to? Make content that makes sense. It's, you know, I'm sure you see it when you're scrolling down your timeline. You know, some people put up a post and the caption doesn't match the creative, right? There has to be a very informative strategy to the content that you're posting to your audience. And it's one of the reasons why for some of my friends, I'm like, hey, I go to your main page, but I see you're promoting your product. I don't follow your main page for your product. Maybe you should make a separate page and make that your product page where you can post as much content about your product over here, because that's not why I follow you. So by creating relevant content, people know when I'm thinking of X, I have this business in mind and I'm just going to go to this page or, you know, share this page. I especially saw this at the height of the Black Lives Matter after George Floyd passed. Everyone was looking for Black business owners, and you saw a lot of business owners have to separate themselves from their brand in order to put forth their business in front of, you know, the businesses that were like collecting and writing articles on where to find Black-owned businesses and like CPG brands. But it's important. It's important. You want to know that what you're selling and what you're putting out there is relevant to the audience that you're putting it in front of. So that's step 3 to making an informed social media strategy. Step 4, it's about the look and the feel. The look and the feel for your social media marketing is all about branding. I am a brand strategist. I am a makeup artist. I like the look and feel for brands because, you know, you can kind of tell if it's relevant or not, you know, based on colors, based on the aesthetic, based on the grid. I know Chris had just shown you all his Facebook page, but sometimes when I go to an Instagram, and I'm looking right now to see, when I go to an Instagram grid, I would show you all mine, but mine is also not as relevant as it should be. But if you look at my grid, you can kind of see like pictures of my family, pictures of me, and pictures of like makeup. This tells people what you're about. And the more exclusive, I know one that comes to mind actually that I'm gonna just pull up here, House of Mimi. When your brand has a look and feel to it and it's consistent, right? People are more likely to hang and scroll and stay because it looks good. So I would say definitely invest some time into the look and feel. Rachel mentioned earlier, you have tools like Canva. Canva made it easy for everyone to be a creator, right? You can create your own content. They have so many templates. This is a template that I'm using. They have so many templates for you to use to leverage into getting your message out so that it looks and feels good. All you have to do is be the subject matter expert on the actual content. Back to creating relevant content. The look and feel, Canva can cover for, and many other apps are out there that can cover for how your content looks and feels, but the goal is for it to make sense and to be consistent. So and recipe, this is also where the recipe comes in. Like, what kind of content are you creating for your posts? Okay, is it relevant? Is it educational? Are there testimonials? Are there stats? Like what is going to be the thing that makes your brand stand out? And when people come to your page, they know, hey, every week, you know, the R, what is this R? The R is recreational. It's just going to be a fun post. Or Is there an inspirational Monday post? Monday morning lookout. Here's the inspirational post for Mondays. This is where you decide what that's going to be. Okie doke. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Look and feel. Okay, step 5. We're heading to step 6, and step 6 is the one that I double click into. Determining your frequency. So you're a business owner or you're a sidepreneur, right? You have a full-time and you have a side hustle. What is going to be your frequency? I can't tell you that, but I can tell you this. Whatever you decide, stick the landing. If you're going to post every Monday, post every Monday. Even better, there are tools out there that can schedule your post for you. This is important for the purposes of the algorithm, for the purposes of maintaining a warm, consistent relationship with your audience. Determining your frequency means it's about you looking at you in the mirror and saying, what can I commit to for my audience? And then posting it, right? Whatever you decide, it's about you being consistent for this one. Step 6, okay? Rachel mentioned hashtags. Step 6 is the special, really the special sauce to it all. What's your engagement strategy? How are you going to keep the conversation going from post to video to IG Live? How are you going to keep your followers engaged? There has to be some sort of call to action. Read this, comment here. What, I love the stickers on Instagram because, you can ask all types of questions and just gauge your audience to see what they find interesting about your posts. Step 6 is about your engagement strategy. So once you've figured it all out, and you know what you're going to post, and you figured out the content, you know your audience, you know what they like, you've determined how often you're going to post, how are you going to keep them coming back and keep sweetening the deal in the relationship and saying, I'm giving you content that is valuable and it is worth 3 times more than what I'm selling it to you for? That's going to make them say, I trust you, okay? People are buying from people these days. So you having an engagement strategy and being very authentic about your brand is only going to make me as a consumer say, I can trust them. Because, if I don't like something, we're Jamaican, people will tell you about your stuff real fast, but that's honest and that's appreciated. So don't be afraid to ask people what they think. The only thing they can tell you is the truth. And what you decide to do with that kind of, says more about you as a business owner than anything. And some, I always say too, sometimes some of the feedback is not always the best, but it's okay. If we know anything, this is cancel culture right now. So I wouldn't shy away from it. It's not, and this is the nonprofit space. So I don't see this here as much as I see it working with like influencers and stuff and encouraging them to also have that same brand honesty. But you can't shy away from having conversations with people because that's what this economy is all about. It's about an openness and honesty as a brand. So whether you're a nonprofit, creator, influencer, for-profit, your engagement strategy should be centered on honesty, relevancy, and something you love, something you're passionate about. So I say this as like the wrap of social media marketing and social media 101. If content is king, consistency is queen. It's a balance. You can have amazing content, but if you're not consistent, people are gonna swipe past your page because they're like, oh, I haven't seen her in a while. And they're like, what she's up to? Oh, okay, that's cool. And they'll just swipe past it. But if you're consistently promoting, even if you don't have an event coming up, but you have something educational to say to your audience, that consistency is going to make your brand go much further than anything else. Okay. It's just going to show that you are an entrepreneur. And most of us these days are. We're all, whether we're hustling pins or, selling us as a brand, that consistency is going to show up and people are going to have a lot of respect for you. So have amazing content, balance it out with consistency, and over time, you will grow your brand. Now, I was going to drop my contact information, but I have some resources that are specifically related to nonprofits that I wanted to double click into. This is my Instagram. Yes, I follow 7,000 people. I follow all the best makeup artists across the country. I actually hit the maximum number of followers. I found that out from my job. Let me click out of this really quickly and take you to this screen where I'm going to do a quick drop on a program that is designed to help nonprofits, for-profits, creators, influencers, and it's called Facebook Elevate. It is a program designed for Black and Brown business owners, but we welcome everybody. And we have resources dedicated to getting you started, getting you up and running. As I think 3 days ago, we just launched our Facebook fundraising toolkit, spring 2021. And this toolkit is going to give you all the details that you need to have a successful donation and fundraising sprint as we head into what I call the giving season. I think this is an excellent resource, and I will share a link with Rachel, and there'll probably be an email that comes out that includes this link. But between this landing page for Facebook Elevate that is focused on nonprofits, you will see, I want to double click into these 3 items. Elevate Circles is a mentorship program. So you are going to get one-on-one time with a Facebook specialist who will coach you over 6 weeks on how you grow your business. And this is free. This is free. So by going to this resource page, you can sign up, and I don't think there's a limit to how many they accept, but they do it every quarter. So 4 times a year, we're accepting people into the Elevate Circles program. Secondly, we have office hours. Office hours is for when you've hit an issue and you need help. You can schedule time to meet with someone from our team who can also help unblock things for you, whether they're technical or whether you just have questions. We have a resource to help you get going and unblock anything that's preventing you from building your business. And then lastly, there are so many trainings. I cannot emphasize that. We have so many on-demand trainings that are focused on social impact. And I think I pulled up that page right here. So sign up for Facebook fundraising, marketing 101, Instagram donations. There are just a number of things on this page that as nonprofits, you should be leveraging. They're free, they're current, they're relevant. And to be honest, when you sign up for some of these programs, you actually end up getting in at least the email system for new things that are rolling out. And that's what you want. You want to be on the front end of the blessing. Okay. So those are like the 3 things I wanted to click into. I was going to scroll through this, but I think it's just valuable to share the link because there are 22 pages of awesomeness that you all can read at your own leisure, right? So with that said, I'm going to wrap right there and go ahead and take any questions that the audience has, Rachel, and I can also go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
Oh my goodness. Friend, because in my head, we're not BFFs. So I'm just going to go ahead and call you friend.
Hey, friend.
Oh my goodness, Cassandra, this was I took notes as well in questions.
Okay, bring it.
I wrote down more questions and notes. So I'm glad that we're going to share the PowerPoint presentation and that link. Oh my goodness. I am excited about that Elevate, to learn about that Elevate and Elevate Circles. And I will be right on board with that.
Yes.
I have done Facebook fundraisers very successfully. And what I love about Facebook fundraisers is that Facebook does not keep a cent. It gives you every single cent that you raise, it sends it to you. That might take a little minute, but it sends it to you. Network for Good. And then Network for Good actually has grants. So they give out grants on a rolling schedule. So I'm about to apply for one myself for the foundation I started. But yes, Facebook has a wealth of information and resources that are free. And I want to note before I start rattling off my list of questions for Cassandra, is that in August, we are going to have another JD Watt webinar series. And Cassandra may have to come back. Well, we're gonna have another webinar series in August, and that webinar series, the 2 evenings, the 2 Thursday evenings, all we're gonna focus on is fundraising. Why?
Oh, nice.
Because the holiday season is coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. And by August is a little late, but we're doing this in early August, early to mid-August. So by the end of August, early September, between this particular workshop series and the one we're going to do in August, which will be pure fundraising, 4 workshops purely on fundraising on different platforms, you should be able to sit with the board. And let me tell you something else. Let me back up a little. You see next week's workshop, which I'll tell you guys about at the end, and the one in August, you should have your board members watching, because the strategy that you're going to have to create around fundraising, your board has to do it. If you're the founder, you should not be the only one, the only 2 ears on here getting this information and being educated. An educated board is a smart board, is a strong board, is a thriving board, which then reflects in the organization. So next week's workshops and the one in August, make sure you have your board plugged in to watch and engage and ask questions and get the information, because in August, you're going to get what you need. You're going to get strategies I've used, my BFF, hopefully will come back. And I'll have some other folks who've raised millions of dollars doing fundraising across a variety of different platforms, right? And grants and other stuff, but we're going to talk specifically about using social media to fundraise during the holiday giving season when people are most generous, right? So I wanted to put that in there as well. The other comment I want to make is Canva is my boo.
She's my girl. She is my girl.
I love me some Canva. When I cannot sleep at night, Rachel's up doing stuff on Canva.
Yeah.
People think I'm just because they think I'm a graphic designer. I'm like, no, I just be going on Canva fooling around. Okay. So let me see. I have some questions, but before I ask them, let me double check to make sure there's no questions from the YouTube folks, because I want to make sure I don't, monopolize all the time with my questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a question. This is from Barbara. So Barbara says, Facebook informed her that it seems that someone hacked into her page, and so she's shut out of Facebook. She has tried to contact Facebook to resolve it with no luck. Can you provide any guidance on how she can get that resolved?
Yes, I'll give her my email address.
Okay, which I'll include when I send out your information.
When you send out okay, that's perfect.
All right, so Barbara, when I send out the link to this video as well as the PowerPoint, Cassandra and Chris's information will be in there. So Cassandra's saying just send her an email and let her, when you email her, just let her know that you're part of JD Watt. And she will provide you the information that you need to guide you into getting that resolved. That's all. All right, so I don't see any other questions. I do see a comment, which I'll read in a second, but I want to get to some questions that I have that I think will be helpful.
Okay.
So one of the slides you had connecting with the audience, but that is really important.
Yes.
And I have a term that I use with my clients. I call it friend raising and fundraising. And that when you're fundraising and fundraising. And so when you are connecting with your audience, it should not just be to ask for money. Nobody wants a friend, and the only time you hear from them is when they will ask you, you got some money? You got some money? I cut people out of my life. To do it all the time.
All the time.
It's the same. Are you fundraising? That means, are you connecting with your audience in a way that you're building a friendship? You don't have to ask them for anything all the time. Educate them, entertain them, tell them about what you're doing, give them behind the scenes, right? You don't always have to have an ask. Build that friendship, build that relationship. Because I'm telling you, right now with everything that's going on, givers have giver fatigue. I'm telling you, they have. Can you donate $5? Can you donate $25?
The emails, the email blasts. I heard a friend of mine say they're blasting out every day.
Yes. So that's
Don't do
another
that.
way, if you want to lose followers and disengage people and have people unsubscribe from your listserv, just contact them only when you want money. If you are looking to weed out and to really lose followers, do that.
Yep.
No one wants to hear from anybody when you just ask them
Nope.
for money. So it's really important when Cassandra talks about connecting and the content. You don't have to, every time you post, you don't have to always have an ask. You can just have a joke or just
Good.
talk about what you're doing.
That mix that Chris talked about, you have to use
Yes,
that.
it's important.
You have to.
Yeah, that beggy thing that nonprofits love to do,
No.
stop it. So fundraising and fundraising. The other question I have is, so you noted the 5 most popular social media platforms that you encourage nonprofits to use. One of the things that I hear very often from nonprofits is a lot of them are small. And so for a lot of them, the board is the one doing all the work. And so to manage 5 platforms out the gate can be very overwhelming for them. So what would be your suggestion for how a nonprofit can perhaps just start with 2 or 3? How can they determine the 2 or 3 they should start with before they kind of build out to 5 or 6?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Why?
That's my 3. Because Facebook has the audience reach. Instagram is going to keep your your business. It's going to give your business a feel, a social media feel. I'll go to your Instagram and see, are you current? Are you posting? Like, what's the cadence there? Are they real? But then if I'm, LinkedIn, personally, I take LinkedIn pretty seriously. So when I look at their LinkedIn profile, I'm looking for content that shows more of what they're doing for the business, how they're growing their business. Like that is why I look to those 3. Facebook has the audience. Instagram, I'm going to see your fun, and it's more fun. It pans younger. So I do expect there to be just a feel to it that has a like captivating vibe to it. But I'm going to see if you post stories. I'm going to see if you had an IG live Q&A or like what type of content you post. And then when I go to LinkedIn, I'm saying, okay, how's your business doing? Really?
Right.
Because I'm not looking at YouTube to see how your business is doing. LinkedIn is going to tell me more about your focus, your strategy, the people who work with you, I'm going to understand that from your LinkedIn.
Oh, that's good. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, look at it this way. LinkedIn, if you're in Kingston, the uptown people, that's LinkedIn. LinkedIn's uptown people. Instagram is the tourist area, the resorts where the folks are having all the fun. And then Facebook is really the everyday rum and drum of Jamaica life, right? Yep. So you're in the country, you're in town or whatever. So when you look at the landscape of what you're serving and who you're grabbing, it's important to understand that the reach. So when you use those 3, and I'm glad you mentioned those 3, I have to get better with LinkedIn because I call LinkedIn the uppity.
It is. Doesn't it give you that vibe? Like it's uppity. It's like
I gotta think
about it.
Yes, you really gotta check yourself before you go post nonsense. But what LinkedIn will do is, if you're looking for name brand sponsors or really looking to access donors that are above a certain pay scale, that's the place to look. That's the way to engage. You're engaging on LinkedIn on the uptown people. That's the, Jamaicans, you know what I'm talking about when I say uptown, right? So when you look at the 3 spaces, the feel of all 3 of them. And then I know nonprofits who are on TikTok because they're trying to engage that generation.
Yep, you saw that TikTok didn't make my list yet, but it needed to. And I think I noted this the last time I did it. I do need to actually put TikTok on there because if you're looking for young people, depending on, what your focus is, you might have to be on TikTok.
And now we have Clubhouse. Lord, somebody said to me, they need to get on Clubhouse. I'm like, what you need to do is leave me alone because I'm an introvert and I'm done out people out. Yeah, believe it or not, yes. But after we're done here, it's nap time. Don't talk to me. Don't speak to me. So, all right. So that was really thank you for that tip. All right. The next comment I had was the pay to play. I love that you mentioned about paid ads. Because once again, what I'm hoping to do with the work that I'm doing with JD Watt and the work I'm doing with my nonprofit clients is get away from this idea that everything that you need to get when you have a nonprofit needs to be free. And that you need to pay to play. You have to have skin in the game. And the Facebook ads are not expensive. You're talking about, like you said, $5 a day for a week. You don't have to do it every week. But Chris mentioned the calendar. He had a whole timeline of a calendar of what's happening at different times in the year. You can structure your ads and invest your ads during that time. Or if you're doing a very special campaign. So the question I had regarding that particular portion of your presentation was, you talked about starting organic because you need to build that momentum, and then you consider going to paid ads. At what point, and I know it might be hard to say at what point should a nonprofit really, you feel like, okay, now we're ready to invest in doing ads. At what point, or what is the measurement that a nonprofit can use to say, okay, we've reached this particular, with this number of followers, number of likes, our engagement is at a particular percent. What do you think a nonprofit can use to determine, all right, now may be a good time for us to start to consider paid ads?
I think that's a good question, and it does vary, but off of, if you have built up your audience to at least 100, right?
Okay.
Just start at 100 followers on Facebook. You could have less on Instagram, but I would say, or 100 likes to your Facebook page. That's when you can start.
Okay.
That's to me, if I had to put a number to it, but that would also mean 100 followers on your Facebook page. Your grid on Instagram is full, meaning I can swipe down and at least, you know, it's not like you have 3 photos, you have at least 9, 12, 15, you have like 15 photos on there. So I can, and different types of photos and videos, I should have mentioned that as well. You have a different type of videos and stuff on there. At that point, I would say you're ready to begin advertising, paid ads, specifically to build awareness, to get people to like your page and get more followers. But I've noticed, you know, because there's another, this is going to get way too in the details, but if you have a custom list of people who, you know, your list of people who have donated, maybe they've never even liked your page. Maybe they didn't know your Facebook page existed. You can start with that list to say, hey, target these people and tell them about my page. And then more than likely they'll hit follow.
Yeah.
Know? So I would say that's the number. If I had to put a number to it, 100 people at a minimum. If I had to put a time, I would say, once your Instagram and your Facebook are like, you have content there. So when people come, there's a call to action. I would time it around when you're actually, I don't want to say right when you need something, do it maybe 2 weeks before you need something so that they have already liked the page. But then if you're looking to pull people in, let's say you don't have 100, you can run a paid ad to get that 100.
Right.
So that's also an option. But I would say then, once you have 100 people who've liked your Facebook page.
And if you noticed what Cassandra said, that when you run your first ad is not donate to us. Your first ad is awareness, that you want people to connect with what you're doing. Bring them in the door first, at least. Don't be having outside and then be like, can I get, can I get some money? Let you in. Yeah. So get them in, have them sit down, look around, give them some curry goat rice and peas and some sorrel. Let put their feet up, let them burp so the food good. And then when you catch them because the food is sleepy, now you say, I fed you, I have taken care of you, I even make you some sorrel to drink. Now, ma'am or sir, let's talk, right? But that may sound funny, but that's really what it is. You have to date these folks. You can't just want to jump in and, commitment. You gotta, wine and dine per se, and cultivate. That's really what it is. It's called cultivating your donors, cultivating those friendships for your organization, cultivating ambassadors, people who are so engaged with you that you don't even ask them to promote your organization. But when you go to their page, I went to someone's page who's been supporting us, and I was shocked to see how many times she had shared stuff from our page. I didn't even know that. One, because I don't check the page, but I was so surprised. Nice? Like, oh my goodness, people are really like, every time that we posted on our page, she shared on her page. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, wow, I need to kind of do random checks.
And did you tell her, I was gonna say, did you tell her thank you?
I did. So, you know, those types of things, but we sometimes we ask it, and sometimes we just sharing information, sharing what we're doing, what we've accomplished, who we've reached, putting quotes from volunteers, quotes from partners that we've worked with, those types of things. So it's really important for that whole fundraising, that whole cultivating of that relationship, because I'm telling you, friends that I've cultivated a relationship with, I can't call and ask them for anything if they don't have it and they're going to give it to me. But I can get something substantial from someone I've cultivated a relationship with. And if they can't give it to me, I have people who are saying, I know my cousin, my auntie, and my uncle. I'm going to go ask them for this $1,000 that you need, because I know the work that you're doing and how important it is. So I can only give X amount, but I'm going to get the rest from so and so. And I didn't even have to ask them to just pure engagement, not even can you donate, just pure kind of cultivating that. So thank you for answering that. We do have, now I have some traffic on the YouTube, so let me see what folks are saying. So C Joy Entertainment, Sharifa is saying, I'm a graphic artist and originally Canva was for professionals only. Thank you both. I will share with my organization here in Oakland. Yes, and
in Oakland.
Canva has an option for nonprofits where they'll upgrade you to Canva Professional for free. I just did that and I got approved. So now you have all the fonts, all the same things that professionals who use Canva use. You have access as a nonprofit.
And it's free. Oh, so they let.
Yeah, I believe I shared that link in our JD Watt group. But Canva also has Canva for nonprofits, and you apply, they check you out, they go and they do their research, and then it takes 7 days.
Yes.
And then they come back and they will give you approval or not. So do that as well, Canva for professionals, because it opens up a whole new world when it comes to what you have access to on Canva. All right, let's see. Yvonne says, my business has an active Facebook account, but no one knows the email that was initially attached to it, so they cannot unload. There is traffic though. What can be done?
Tell her to email me.
Okay, so Yvonne, I am not sure if you are part of JD Watt. So if you can comment and let me know if you're part of JD Watt. If not, I will put the information, the JD Watt email, and then you can email me and I'll provide Cassandra's email to you as well, because the information that we're going to be sending out will be sent to our JD Watt listserv. So if you are watching this now live or you're watching this on the replay, you can join JD Watt, which is, like I said, part of JD Tan. And this is where you get all this wonderful, wholesome, juicy, immeasurable information and cultivation and consulting for nonprofits. I'll drop the link in this YouTube at the bottom of in the comment, so you can go and join JD Watt, and you'll automatically, every time we have workshop series, I automatically send out the contacts and the information as well. Let me see, I'm trying to make sure that all the questions I wrote down here. I have, okay, great. So Yvonne says she's on. All right, Yvonne. So when I send the email out, Cassandra's contact information is going to be there. When you email her, just let her know that you were part of the JD Watt workshop, and then ask your question, and she'll be able to guide you. The other thing that Cassandra brought up, which I'm glad that she did, was that there are platforms out there, and some of them are free, limited service, but still free, where you can schedule your posts. Facebook Business has a free. I don't even use Hootsuite anymore.
Oh, you use
which is one of
the
the ones I
Facebook
used to
Business
use.
Suite.
Yes, I use the Facebook
Yes.
Business Suite. That's all I've been
Yes.
using recently. And I can link it to my Instagram.
Yep.
So I can schedule, I've sat in bed on a Sunday and I have scheduled my posts for the whole week. I manage 7
Nice.
pages that's 7 different pages. So that's about 10 or 12 between Instagram combined, because some of them have double. And I sit on a Sunday and it takes me about 2 hours and I just plan out the week. People think I'm active on Facebook. No, I'm not. I'm just planning out my posts using the Facebook Business Suite, and you can schedule it for the day and the time that you want. One of the wonderful things about the Facebook Business Suite, it also will recommend to you a day and time to post when the algorithm has confirmed that you have the highest number of engagement. So it will recommend a day and a time because it says this is a day and the time that what we have noticed that your page is most active. Sometimes I pick it, sometimes I don't, because I want to post every day. So sometimes it's a couple of days away. But take notice of that. If it's saying Thursdays at 9 o'clock, that means if you're going to do a live video, Thursdays at 9 o'clock. If you want to do launch a fundraiser, Thursday at 9 o'clock, because Facebook is saying that's when they've noticed you have the most engagement.
Yep, and I'll take it a step further. Facebook Business Suite is really, really incredible. And I know the team that's working on it, they have, there's a lot of talk about chatbots and automated messaging, just like moving towards automation, because like we said, time is limited. And through Facebook Business Suite, even if people message you, you can schedule automatic messages to go to them. How convenient is that?
Yes. Yes. And so now on Facebook, because I've now linked all my Instagram pages and my Facebook pages, I can also respond to my Instagram messages via the Facebook Business Suite.
Everything.
One place. I don't have to keep checking, because I always miss my Instagram messages. I don't know why. But when we think about small nonprofits who don't have a lot of time, you can get a volunteer, and what's a commitment for the week? 2 to 3 hours for the week, just to schedule posts.
Just to schedule posts.
Just to schedule. You provide them with the verbiage, and even if, and after a while, after you've gained your trust, you can have them kind of do it on your own, and then you approve it. But content, pictures, you provide them and have them create it, and then you can always go look at it to make sure that it's okay, and just have a volunteer who that's what they do. They give you 2 to 3 hours a week. And all they're doing is just going and scheduling posts for your social media pages.
That's right.
Someone has a question that you used the word side pruner. I know what you mean by side pruner, but they're asking to please explain side pruner.
Yes, a sidepreneur is an entrepreneur who does what they do on the side. So I have a full-time job, but I also am a makeup artist full-time. I do shoots, celebrities. I do all kind of makeup on the side. So I'm a sidepreneur. My full-time job is working with small businesses on an internal program. But outside of that, I have another thing. And a lot of people are sidepreneurs. It's like a term that may not be everywhere, but I hear it a lot amongst my friend circle, because I also have some serial entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Those are the ones who have 20 businesses. And I'm like, why does 3 of your pages have 1 follower? Like, are these really businesses or are these ideas? I think these are ideas.
That's funny. Yes. And then you have multi-pruner, which is the same as a serial pruner. And then you have polypruners. Let me tell you, you have all these words.
Oh, see, that's new to me. What's a polypreneur?
The same things as someone who has multiple gifts. And so, I know it's these words.
We don't waste our talents, though. It's all,
if
you got a good idea, I always say, if you got a good idea, get the Instagram handle.
Absolutely. Let's see. I just want to make sure I don't miss any questions or comments. So Adrian Edwards is saying, she's just getting on. How can I get the presentation? So Adrian, if you are a member of JD Watt, you automatically get this presentation because I'll be sending out the email between now and the weekend of tonight's presentation. So I'll send that out. If you are not part of JD Watt, I am going to put the link in the comments where you can join JD Watt, and then you can be on the mailing list and you can get this presentation. And it's going to stay on YouTube as well. So if you can also just go rewatch it if you'd like. But we do send out, the benefit of being a JD Watt member is you do get the PowerPoints, you do get the contact information for the speakers that we have. You do get access to our networking, our quarterly networking meetings. You know ahead of time when we're going to have workshops. So all those things are like benefits. I do one-on-one consulting sessions with JD Watt nonprofits. So you get all these amazing benefits that are part of being a JD Watt member. So I'll put the link in this video comment for those who are interested in joining JD Watt, and then that way you can get the information as well. I think those were all my questions for you. Is there anything else, anything else, last things you want to add for our viewers?
No, I think that's it. I think you've answered everything. I've touched on a few things. I'm sure there'll be more questions, but that's why I just share my email. Like, feel free, follow me on, I didn't drop my Instagram on the email I just sent you. I'll reply. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram or Facebook. I know, especially when it comes to the Caribbean, that sometimes there's these feelings like, who can I reach out to in Facebook? And so myself, Larkland used to be here, and a few of us who are from, the Caribbean, we make ourselves available to do these type of things. Like, I always say, like, the English speaking Caribbean is always somehow missed, it's like Latin America, all these other initiatives are outside. Yeah. And so, when you're opening the door for access, it's about, making yourself that first. So I don't mind, if you're sharing my email with other people who are experiencing some blocks on the Facebook, on Instagram. I can't guarantee anything, especially verification. That seems to be a buzzword. Can you get me verified? Can you give me a blue check? I cannot make no guarantees there, but I can get you back into your account. That's what I can work on. Yeah.
And also Facebook has so many amazing tools, as Cassandra mentioned before. And Facebook at one point, I don't know if they're still doing it, but at one point, Facebook was also giving out grants to nonprofits to help with. We have that, yes. Elevate. Yeah, to help with, if you can send me that link as well, so I can share it. To help with, I know an organization that got help with ads. So it wasn't necessarily money they got, but they got kind of credit to use.
Ad credits.
Ad credits, yeah. Which, as Chris said, there's different types of currency. Right?
Yep.
And so Facebook does have quite a bit of tools that I have discovered, and I'm still discovering, that are just really amazing for nonprofits. So Cassandra, thank you for making yourself available.
Absolutely.
Thank you for serving us in this way tonight. The information you gave us was really invaluable, and I'm hoping that those who are watching and will watch this on the replay will really take the information that you're giving and put it to use, take it back to their boards and really, really put it to use, because you and I know that in other spaces, this is what happens. Information is shared, it's cultivated, and it's used to grow different communities. And we certainly need to be on that mind as well. To grow the work that we are doing. So thank you so very much for joining.
Thank you, Rachel, for putting this together. I really enjoyed it, and I think, let me know how I can be a resource for you.
Oh yeah,
I don't mind doing
it.
It's coming.
I already said, friend. You definitely be back, and I've already spoken to Larkland about ways that we can continue to partner to really help these organizations that are doing such amazing work in Jamaica and throughout the diaspora. So, yep, nothing but a word.
Nothing but a word. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Have a good night.
No problem. Later.
So everyone on here, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Next week, we are going to have 2 more workshops, one at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, one at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we are going to tackle using social media and crowdfunding platforms to fundraise. Yes, we're going to spend an hour talking about that, and we're going to look at a few popular crowdfunding. And if you don't know what crowdfunding platforms are, for an example, GoFundMe. GoFundMe is a crowdfunding platform. Facebook fundraisers, crowdfunding platform. That's where you use that platform for crowds of people, some who are not connected to the organization, to give. So there's a couple other crowdfunding platforms that exist. So we're going to talk about crowdfunding and then how to use social media to fundraise next week. And then the second workshop is going to be around project management tools. So one of the things Cassandra mentioned tonight is the ability to use certain platforms to schedule your post. That will be considered a project management tool. So we're going to talk about not just for social media, but what are some other project management tools that exist that nonprofits should be taking advantage of so that you can do your work more efficiently. You can spend less time planning, less time on the phone, less time sending emails, and more time actually doing the work, one, and more time doing work that makes you money. So that's really important, right? And so we're going to talk about some of those project management tools, just some basic ones, nothing scary, but just some basic ones that you can use for that. And Antoinette, who is a member of JD10, is going to be our speaker for the project management tools for nonprofits. And right now, I will be the speaker for crowdfunding and so using social media for fundraising. I'm hoping to get some guests with me to talk about that. We'll see what happens. But next week, don't miss it. That will be the final day of this nonprofit series. The next series will be in August. And in August, we are going to cover social media fundraising specifically for getting ready for the holiday giving season. So you can maximize the donations and the fundraising that you do during the holiday season. All right, so I think I've covered all the questions. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And I look forward to seeing you again next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. Night.